Everyone wants happiness and success, and we know how to get you there. Come listen to the Leadership Society of Arizona as we teach a proven logic to help you simplify life, overcome challenges, and predict the future. You're listening to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Dr. Jake.
Dr. Jacob.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate your continual support. Please share this episode with people. Post it on your social media, text it to them, or we even have short versions of episodes as well too. So you can send that out too if you only got 60 seconds. So in our last episode that Dr. Jacob and I were together, we talked about how do you respond to behavioral issues or when kids or teenagers aren't doing what they're supposed to do, or you're having a hard time guiding them or correcting them. After going through this episode and talking to Dr. Jake about it, I got to thinking about sometimes the students that I mentor, it's not that they're having behavioral issues. It's not that they're deliberately defiant, but sometimes they just don't listen and they want to listen. So one week I'll be talking to them and they'll be all motivated to do these things that I think they should do because it's really going to help them out. And they say, I'm going to do them. And then the next week comes around and they did the exact opposite of everything that we talked about. And I can't help but sometimes feel a little disheartened when that happens. So Dr. Jacob, my question is to you is, as people who are trying to mentor, how do you approach this kind of thing? How do you not get disheartened when kids aren't doing the things you know would help them out?
Got it. That is a tough thing, especially for any mentor. I don't usually have an issue with this because the way I've dealt with this issue is I just don't expect anyone to do anything.
So simple, but man, it's true.
No,
hey,
but
talk more about that for the viewers.
So here's the thing. You need to know, what is your value as a mentor? See, a lot of people think their value as a mentor is they're going to have all this wisdom and they're going to relay it. And then due to relaying it to all of these people that they're mentoring, they're going to take your advice. And then because of your advice, they're going to change their life.
Yeah, you make it more about you. Mm-hmm.
So it's about, you think your value is how much they can take from you. Right? But the reality of it is, if you're an adult and they're a child, the likelihood that they can implement even 10% of what you relay to them is almost 0%.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to. They're just a young child. They're not going to change very much. They might be able to understand on a cognitive level what you're saying, but the ability to actually take your advice and do it, many times I've seen many people that they think something's really simple and it's not, especially not to a student or a child.
You're right.
So what is your value? The value of having someone older is, as you get older and you become a good, wise mentor, you realize one key fact of life. That one, you've made a lot of mistakes and you've had a lot of times in your own life where you thought you're changing so slow, you can't implement anything, you can't get yourself to move, and you're going to be a complete failure. But now that you're older, you realize that all those times you thought you're going to be a complete failure, it was okay. The value of a mentor is when a child comes to you, they just have a one source, at least in their life, maybe multiple, hopefully. But if they don't have anyone else, at least they have one person to come to that they can talk about everything going wrong in their life, all the messed up things they're doing, and they can hear back from them with confidence that this person has been through life and knows that they are doing okay, that they're going to be great still, that everything's going to work out, and they're going to be just fine, and things are going to go really well for them, and that there's hope. If that's all you do, and that's all they can take away from you, that's of great value.
So the being disheartened, it comes from a wrong expectation on the mentor. Because if you go in and mentoring someone and you're like, I'm going to help this person by changing their behavior and changing their life and changing their habits, you're bound to be disappointed. You're bound to get disheartened.
It's true. One of the key things I tell all mentors is that, especially in our group, our job is not to change the child.
Yeah.
Our job is not to fix the child. Our job is to figure out what the child's capability is and guide them to the next step that they want to do, that they can do, that will help them in their life.
It's funny, and we've been doing this for years now. So you and I have had this conversation or something similar so many times. But I think where it gets hard is it's easy to forget. Sometimes you think that there's an exception. Like I have a student who comes to me and I feel like, wow, this student has really made a breakthrough. And they seem like they're finally ready to listen. And like they're finally asking the right questions and saying the right things. And it seems like they're ready to make the changes, but it's misleading.
That is true. And it's because people, they do forget.
Yeah.
So one of the wise old tricks I've learned from my father, as he was a presenter and educator, is he would just say the same message over and over. And I tell him, we just saw these people like 3 months ago. You did the exact same presentation. Why don't you want to change it up? Don't you want to give them something new? He's like, most of them already forgot. They're not going to even know I gave the exact same presentation. And sure enough, everybody loved it. He gave the exact same thing. And I was dumbfounded. But I started to realize as I watched him work, it's true. It's not about relaying new things. Life is really simple. When you find those key things, it now becomes just continually getting reminded of these correct ideas and principles over and over again. Even myself, I need it, I found out. And so if you go through all of our podcasts, maybe it will be disheartening for you if you wanted to learn something new every time. But you might find it very interesting that a lot of times it comes down to the exact same 1, 2, 3 principles.
It's true.
Just a different topic, maybe different words. Maybe we go over the exact same thing every week, but we forget. And so to be able to have a reminder constantly in your life is of great value, especially if it's a good, correct, simple principle.
Yeah. And the principle here is you might think you have impact, but you probably don't. And really the key as the mentor is just to be there to love and accept the kid and remind them that they're doing just fine.
And that is a symbol of a good mentor. Can a student keep coming back and not doing anything, and that mentor doesn't get disheartened, doesn't give up, continually strives to help the child and do what's best for the child? That is setting the example you want the child to learn.
Yeah.
Don't get disheartened. You might have failure after failure, but it's okay. You just keep moving. If your heart's in the right place and you just try long enough, eventually you'll find what works. You'll find how to move forward. And then, then it's like success comes very rapidly once you figure out your niche.
Good. Well, shoot, I hope this episode was as helpful for you all as it was for me, because I feel like refreshed. I feel ready to call my students again and just no expectations. Thank you for your time, Dr. Jacob. Thank you, listeners, and we'll see you next time.